typical ways that children are exposed in the prenatal condition, or even as a young child? How are they typically exposed?
Children are exposed through their mother, so the products that mother uses, the food she eats, the kinds of flooring in the house, all might provide exposure to phthalates. Vinyl flooring like linoleum provides exposure to specific phthalates. Use of personal care products such as nail polish or makeup, certain makeups, perfume, body products like body lotions, deodorants, certain soaps provide exposure to other kinds of phthalates. And also phthalates are in household cleaning products like dryer sheets.
Okay. And are there symptoms which people can look out for, mothers can
No.
look out for?
No, you're exposed to phthalates just like you might be exposed to any other chemical that's in products. The phthalates generally at those levels of exposure don't give you any symptoms.
And what have you seen are the effects on children who have been exposed prenatally?
Our research here at Columbia uses a birth cohort, so that means we recruit pregnant women, and we follow the women up through delivery, and now we're following their children up through, and the data we've been writing about up through an age 7-year follow-up. So we measure the chemicals in the mother's urine, and these phthalates were measured in mother's 3rd trimester urine, so at the very end of pregnancy. And because phthalates are a short-lived chemical in the body, that represents exposure over just a short period of time. But one can presume that mother's been using the same kinds of products throughout the pregnancy, and so one could say that maybe it reflects her long-term exposure. Anyway, phthalates are across the placenta, they go into the baby, and they may have harmful effects on the baby as the baby develops. Our research found that starting at age 3 and now at age 7, we found deficits in measures of cognitive ability in the children exposed to specific phthalates.
So this would affect the brain development, essentially?
Yes, it would affect the brain development, presumably. We've tried to account for a lot of other factors in our research that might explain the association, not phthalates. So far, we haven't been able to find any other factors, but that's not to say that there aren't any other factors. There may be some that we haven't thought about. But we've measured a lot of other contaminants, we've measured a lot of sociodemographic characteristics, all that might explain away the association, and they don't. So at age 7, that association we originally found at age 2 persisted in childhood intelligence, such that children exposed to the highest levels of phthalates had IQs between 4 and 7 points lower than those exposed to the lowest level of phthalates. Everybody's exposed, so there was no group with no exposure.
Is there a limit that you see where it becomes problematic in terms of phthalate exposures, being that everyone is exposed on some level?
Well, so our research is in populations. And so it's very hard to extrapolate from a population level study to an individual. There are many factors on an individual level that goes into determining the score on a child's IQ test. That being said, if you think of IQ as being distributed as a bell-shaped curve with a mean of 100, shifting the mean IQ down by 4 points means that the whole curve is shifted down by 4 points. And you have a larger number of children in the tail who might be considered children who you're concerned about, right, in that lower tail of IQ.
And have you seen any research on young children being exposed through products or, through byproducts, dust?
So in our studies also, we've measured childhood exposure to phthalates, so at age 2, at age 5, at age 7, and we find, a few associations between exposure to those phthalates independent of what they've been exposed to during pregnancy, but those associations are much smaller than the ones that they were exposed to during pregnancy, during the in utero period. So the in utero period seems to be a point of concern for exposure. My colleagues here at Columbia, not myself, have also looked at the relationship between exposure to phthalates and asthma, and they find that the specific phthalates found in vinyl flooring in particular are associated with respiratory problems in children.
Interesting. Green point.